Hello friends, and welcome to my channel for another custom action figure video. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I love to try to take a retail level kind of basic figure and try to upscale it, customizing it to make it more of a premium type of thing. My most recent video was me doing that with the Mattel Colossal T-Rex from Jurassic World. About a year ago, I repainted a Jakks Pacific 3-foot tall BVS Batman. And then I actually picked this guy up to do a repaint on as well. I'll probably still do that on the channel at some point. But a similar thing just came out, being that we're all excited for the new movie. I picked up the Spin Master 12-inch Superman figure. Now, all in all, like for 10 bucks, like this is a pretty decent figure. It's got a good head sculpt on it, but it does need some work. I just want to make some tweaks on it, repaint it, and try to make it look like a more premium release. So that's what we're going to do today on the channel. And something cool about this one is I'm actually going to be giving this away. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that button because I'll be doing a live stream where you can win this. Let's get this guy to the workbench and get started. So all in all, I think this is a pretty decent figure. The articulation is a little clunky, but the proportions on this, I feel like it's mostly pretty realistic compared to the other 12-inch cheap figures you see at grocery stores and in the toy aisle and that sort of thing. The only thing that's not really doing it for me is the torso is just kind of square. But I mean, that is kind of part of the design because of this suit is so loose fitting. So I don't plan on making any modifications to the sculpt itself. I just want to get him to a place where he can look really good standing there. And you've got swivel here, you've got a 90-degree bend. So, he can hit the classic pose and that sort of thing. And I think that's pretty good for a figure like this. I do want to try to make it so that he has more articulation in his neck because there's not much here. Also, I think the head is a little bit too small for this figure, and I think it sits a little bit too high. So I'm going to probably try to drop it down a few millimeters just to make it look a little bit more in proportion. I do want to swap out the hands for something more realistic. And one of the main things I'm going to do that I think will help a lot, it's super minor, but I'm going to take this and shave away some of this butt flap here because as it is, he doesn't have any torso articulation, right? So he can't hit a powerful straight up and down pose. He always looks like he's kind of hunching a little bit. So by shaving away some of this, I'm going to eliminate this hit point, and that's going to allow his legs to go a little bit more straight so that he can hit more of a straight up and down powerful pose. Going to be a lot of repainting. This blue is a little bit dark, so we're going to dry brush it with some lighter blue. It's going to bring out the textures a little bit and also just kind of make him pop a little bit more. And then the belt, there should be red that pops out under the yellow belt, and you can see where it's sculpted, it's just not painted. So again, super cheap figure, right? I'll do a wash on the boots, and I'm gonna replace the cape. I get why they do it like this, but this kind of figure would really benefit from a cape that's gonna drape over the shoulder a bit more, and that's just gonna help his silhouette. And I actually have this this is back when I used to dabble in 1/6 customs, trying to make more premium stuff out of cheap parts. So this was a BVS Mattel Barbie Superman, and the S shield I actually got from a figure like this. The boots are also from that BVS Barbie Superman. This was kind of my own design that I've drawn Superman like this a bunch of times, where he's got this kind of red middle section there. So I was kind of going for Justice League BVS, but my take. This is super rudimentary, very early stuff for me, and not very good. But I'm going to use probably these hands. We'll see if I can make them work. And then this is a cape I made for it. It was actually glued in here, but it's already wired. It just needs the S shield on the back, and I think it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to cut into here, maybe shave these down a little bit so it's not too bulky. Obviously, I'm going to repaint the head and make it look like a more realistic paint job. It's a good sculpt. It's a little skinny. You can see right here, it just kind of tapers in a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good likeness, and I think you can really bring out the David Cornswet sculpt in this. I'm probably gonna clean up this area a little bit too, but yeah, when it's all said and done, I think this is gonna look a lot better, and this will be a cool thing to give away on the channel. And now I'm doing the giveaway as a 10,000 subscriber giveaway, so there will be instructions at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm ready to start painting this guy. So we're gonna look at a bit of a montage of me putting this thing together. Started off there with me scraping out the inside of that flap I was talking about. I cut the hands out and removed the pegs, and then fit in these 1/6 versions. They're not the right color, so I had to repaint them. I got them as close as I could, but they're still not a perfect match just because that material doesn't take paint the same way. Here's a look at the process of painting the blue. So I just use regular craft store acrylic paint and one of these sponge brushes, and I'm just dry brushing it on. If you don't know, dry brushing is just hitting the raised parts with the brush very lightly. Now, conversely, for the red areas, I used a darker red paint than what's actually on the figure and made it into a wash, which is basically just like 50% water, 50% paint. Wash can be any ratio, but that's what I used. And that just really got into the little crevices of the textures and stuff and made it look like it has some dimension to it and some shadows and just like general kind of wear and tear. It just makes it look more lived in. Here's a look at the base skin tone that I made. Now, this paint was basically the exact same color as the base color of the skin on this thing. So I just covered the whole thing with that. And I went over the hairline too, because it's going to allow me to kind of feather it in and make it look natural. Here you see the beginning of my paint process, and I'm going to do a full video using this figure actually after this as a head painting tutorial, but I'll look at my process. So I flick different colors of paint at the skin areas, and that gives it a more natural, varied look to the skin. Now I'll go over it with other washes and stuff too to kind of even it out, and it looks a lot more pronounced on camera, a lot more speckly, but to the naked eye it's very, very subtle. Here I'm using a blue wash to add the, not really a 5 o'clock shadow, but more so just like, you know, where you can see hair follicles under the skin on a clean shaven face. And then here I'm going in with a red wash over the bridge of the nose and the cheeks and different parts of the face, just to kind of give it the look that there's blood flow going on there. And you'll see this is where it really starts to come to life and look a little less, you know, just kind of pale. This is one of my favorite parts of the process because it really starts to take on a more lively look. And again, I'm going to do a full process video using this footage, but just decompressed and with more explanations of tools and methods and all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. Here is a look at most of the painted face, but I have blocked in where the eyes are going to go. And then I cut holes for that cape and I shaved the front kind of chunks off of the plastic a little bit, just to give them a little more clearance. And I'm inserting it here. I glue it in place. And then with that, he's done. And as we look at some of the after shots here, I mean, what a incredible difference this new paint job made. I mean, it looks like a different figure altogether. Like, you would never guess that this was like a super cheap $10 figure, you know. And that, I mean, there's a lot to say for the sculpt here. Like, it's a really good sculpt. I think what they do with these is they actually scan the actors, like a 3D scan of the actor in the costume. Unless Spin Master just has like incredible sculptors on deck for their $10 toys, which is possible, but I don't know. To me, it seems a bit more like this is a scan thing. Now, as I mentioned at the outset, the head is a little bit too small, I think, for this body. If you hold this up next to a Hot Toys, they're the same height, but the head is like way, way, way smaller. But I think overall, it doesn't look too bad on this figure. Like, I think it actually looks right, even though it's not. So here are a few profile shots. You can see that the stance is better improved now. His head kind of sits a little further back, like he's looking up a little bit more, and his shoulders kind of look like they're further back because of that issue I corrected with the back of the thighs. So I think overall he just has a better posture, a little more authoritative, confident stance. You know, here he's kind of like, oh, leaning his head forward a little bit. And then when you see the after, he's kind of looking a little bit more straight up. So yeah, much improved, I think. I'm just kind of obsessed with this thing. I gotta be honest. So as I mentioned, I'm gonna be giving this away. I kind of don't want to, but I'm gonna do it because I said I would. So let's talk about the giveaway. I'm going to be giving this away during a live stream. That is forthcoming on my channel. As soon as I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to schedule a date, and I will announce that in the community tab here on my channel, as well as on my Instagram. So make sure you're subscribed here for that information, and make sure you're following me on Instagram as well. There'll be a link in the description below for my page. So I'll announce the official giveaway rules within the live stream itself. Now I want to mention here though, unfortunately, I do have to limit the giveaway to within the United States. Shipping internationally is always very expensive. And with the new tariffs and all that stuff, it's just way too much of a time suck and a hassle for an independent creator like myself. Like, it's just me doing all this stuff on top of like a 60-hour work week every week. I know some people are probably gonna say, oh, the tariffs were canceled. Some of them. There's still reciprocal tariffs in place. They're constantly changing anyway. And ultimately, like, it just creates a headache that I unfortunately don't have the time to deal with. But, you know, this is still something nice that I want to do. As a thank you to everybody for subscribing to the channel and everybody who rides with me on these videos. It does really mean a lot. You know, I'm not able to do commissions for various reasons. Maybe I'll do a video about that one day. But this is my way of, you know, trying to get something that I've made out to somebody in the viewing community. So please tune in for that live stream. It's going to be fun. We have a couple buddies on. We're going to be talking toys. And like I said, doing this giveaway. Also in the description below, there will be an Amazon affiliate link to this base figure if you want to get one and try this on your own. Like I said, $10, you can't beat it. So that is going to wrap this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Keep in mind that I will be doing a full head painting tutorial using this figure footage coming up very soon here on the channel. It's going to be the next video that I post. So thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, keep your head on swivel.